Hello, my name is Oriana Escobar Castillo, and today I will present my graduation project, which is about the importance of knowing who you are. The idea was to create a project based on your career, but at the beginning of the year I wasn't sure about what I was going to study. At that moment, I realized that the topic should be about our identity. Some questions start to appear, like how I'm supposed to know which career I will study if I don't know who I am. Why I don't know. Are there other people who have the same issue? Well, yes, because we are insecure, and at the moment we need to make a decision, society influences us. Also, insecurity is dangerous since you start feeling unhappy with yourself, you lose confidence over your capacities, which leads you into depression. So, because of these mental breakdowns, I decided I want to help people who don't follow their dreams, who aren't true to themselves, who live inside a bubble scared of going outside and showing who they are. My goal was to make workshops with people with different lifestyles, to see how society impacts us even though we share different thoughts or beliefs. The steps I needed to follow were: first, I researched for getting information about ideas for workshops. I start looking for questions that will help me in my experiment, that are based on discovering your identity and how society interrupts in this process. I also research for gathering more evidence about how age, gender, education, family, relationship, stimulus such as music, and social classes, specifically in Colombia, affects you. So later, when I create the questions for the workshops, I had evidence support by putting one quote per factor showing how relative they are to the topic. After I complete my research, the next step was creating Google form questions for selecting the group of people I work with, which were divided into 3 groups according to their age. This Google form was the beginning of my experiment. I needed to know age, so depending on the group they were, family, are they divorced, do you have brothers or sisters, do you live with one of your parents or another family member, and education, how they are in school, good grades, behavior. Later, I did the workshops for each group. The first one was the kids between 10 and 11 years old, because younger children are more limited in their capacities for answering certain questions about themselves. Then teenagers between 16 to 18, because they're ending school and starting university, which is a big change. The last group, adults between 40 to 50, because some of them already have their family, they have work like for longer time, and also have more experience. So I create activities according to the age capacities. They don't share the same responsibilities, their perspective of life change, and also how mature they are. For kids and teenagers, I only change a few questions because they are still minors. But for adults, I change most of the questions because they have a job, more responsibility since they have to maintain their family, and they have like more experience in knowing how life works than kids and teenagers. When I sent all the workshops and the people returned them, the next step was analyze the results. Finding the general problem which I discovered is insecurity. No matter your age, gender, or social class, everybody agreed in one thing: they are insecure. According to the children I work with, their fears were loneliness, darkness, not being with their family. So kids seem more dependent on their mom and dad. They don't tend to make their own decisions, and they are afraid of ending isolated. Most of the teenagers I work with said that their biggest fear is failure. They don't want to disappoint. They want to be someone in this life. They are insecure because they are scared of rejection. Adult said that they don't follow their dreams because they haven't decided, showing insecurity for not committing any mistake. This part of the process was getting up with the central issue of identity loss, of not being true to ourselves, of understanding how society affects us, and confuse who we are. I needed to find a solution to this problem, and also I researched about it. I found 3 articles about encouraging people to be themselves. So I choose the best tips that I know will help many people if they are dealing with insecurity issues. Some of them are: focus on the ways things could go right instead of wrong, so be positive. Another one is to accept your mistakes, learn from your failures, which means that you need to move forward and work harder. These tips will help people to be happier with their lives. All this information, my whole experiment and discoveries were included in a website I made called Surprise Me. But instead of putting like me, I is an M and a 3. Why? Because we are a box full of surprises or mysteries, 1M, but I, or like myself, 2M, have a purpose or meaning, you could say, in life. So the 3M's goes for mysteries, myself, and meaning. I decided to create my webpage because that's the easier way to communicate and inform the people around the world about the importance of knowing who we are. On this website, I talk about the workshops, my experiment, the research I did, and also tips for being confident. Some of the requirements were the permission and approval of Miss Trina, Mr. Patrick, and Miss Lady, because I was going to work with their students on a school project, and the questions need to be appropriate for not having problems with parents. Also, I need compromised people with my project. They needed to answer the questions of my activities according to the given time. My backup plan. Since we're passing through an issue because of this new coronavirus, I changed some of my project, like some parts. My activities were virtual instead of face-to-face. They were all questions, but for some of them, you needed to like listen to music or pick a color. That way the people didn't get bored. My learning process. Even though I couldn't make face-to-face workshops, I still did my experiment because you need to find a way to turn issues into solutions. When a door closes, another one opens. Sometimes things don't go according to your original plan, so you need to change direction, look for a new plan, and achieve your goal. This project also helped me to find out that I like to investigate human behavior. I want to learn more about our capacities and how far human imagination can go. We need to get out of the box because when you do it, when you finally face reality with your real you, that's when life starts. After finishing this process, how do I feel? Do I succeed? Well, that depends on what's your definition of success. For me, success or someone successful is who lives on the outside but always thinking on the inside. What I mean is that people that enjoy what reality offers you and use their imagination to create the impossible are succeeding. Helping others by giving the most vulnerable people food is more than it seems. The people who do that are not only giving a piece of bread, they are giving hope, faith, and strength. In my project, by giving advice, sharing my experience and conclusions, made me look at life through a new perspective, a more human, where giving is the purpose of life. Giving your opinions, your beliefs, your real you makes life more enjoyable and unique. In that way, I succeed because I reveal my inner thoughts. Thank you for everything. I hope you liked the presentation.